In the beginning, God created time. If anything is going to happen in time, things need to evolve. For evolution to occur, there must be certain physical constants, certain determinism, even if they change in an orderly way. These are mysteries to us. Viewed from within, evolution has no implicit order. Expansion and evolution are the motivating drives of living organisms without intelligence. It is reasonable yet wrong to choose from a variety of language terms to describe ideas about evolution, challenge and response, survival, and so forth. Yet those words misleadingly may describe a static structure with goals, winners and losers, or even morals. Intellect may form morals, and naturally so, yet not evolution as a physical phenomena for itself. Evolution is a phenomenal composition of life competing to transform mass into energy for its own empowerment. There is a tremendous difference between the phenomenality of evolutionary bound, pre-reflective life forms and those sentient ideas with thought for itself. Thought also evolves, yet with a memory of its past. Physically evolved forms consume the past of others and have no memory except as concatenated evolutionary things in themselves. Genomic analysis reveals many of the evolutionary permutations and accretions of form individual creatures and species may have taken. Forensic evolutionary investigations offer no additional guiding premise to evolution rather than the mass into energy conversion of the bioform unit. It is the richness and diversity of life that stimulates more complex, subtle, and refined evolutionary adaptations, providing for the advance of species as more complex and adaptive organisms responding to challenges. Survival of the strongest implicitly wars upon profusion of diversity of forms. Consolidation of plurality into one monopolized being or few reduces biodiversity and the evolutionary prospects for survival of life, sometimes in an existentially adverse environment. Thoughts, evolutionary challenges, and adaptations are more transcending, and the structures, thought, experiences are susceptible to reformation. The intellectual history of humanity is given through books, videos, writing. Perpetuators then used to construct new synthetic extensions of concepts for more comprehension of the nature of reality. The economy of mind then reaches the edge of a realm of absolute spirit, transcends a little the implicit limitations of evolution as the simple yet beautiful entropy, organic activity. What is a primal core of a human being? Consider this fundamental. Nature is the universe of change. If we believe that a primal core is an idea rather than a physical thing, that emotions would be as good a place as any to look. I believe that emotions are more of a primal, motivating, preconscious or subconscious actualizer, selecting horseshoe toss approximations, right responses to external challenges or stimuli. In reading Quine's Philosophy of Logic, I went over the notion of words as phonemes and sounds that grammarians assemble into rules of construction such that our language to convey meanings might be simpler. Quine wrote that grammarians care not about truth, but that logicians can as they compare categorical expressions and corresponding values. If words are phenomenally malleable, then how can a primal core be associated with that? I would venture the opinion that an existential fact of being, a human being in any form, is itself primal rather than secondary. An amoeba is primal without any thought at all. Human beings must do equally as well. Thus, a derivative primal core of phenomenal intelligence is as good as anything else for primal nature. Einstein's general theory is raw intelligence. The thought of Pauli, Dirac, and Heisenberg were brute expression of idea, good ideas such as might lift the human primal core from the swamp of ignorance into the realm of quantum field theory. If not, QED and extra-dimensional field travel right away. Primal cores might be those blood and guts elements that exist as one steps onto a spaceship without awareness of transcendental morphing factors risked. It is these sorts of primal cores I worry about being violated by pollutions and additional transmorphology of adverse reconstruction. If a primal core is an original condition biological being, then an effacing transition through adulteration of the core toward a composite being will annihilate the core. One might have an infinite number of text strings sewn within a primal core in transition to another entity of a pluralistic construction. Nearly 2 centuries before Saul time, intellectual property rights had been altered in order to accelerate ecological economic recovery efforts. Instead of 95-year copyrights for transnational corporations and equally absurd patent rights time periods for socially generated ideas, it was decided by remaining democracies of Earth that 7 years would be the time period, non-renewable too, for patents and copyrights, with ideas registered becoming public domain thereafter. Investors would be given 10% gross revenues for any idea exploited from the public realm for a century as well. Such a radical revision of intellectual property rights assured that inventors and ideas developing in the primal core could be used quickly by the national economies of the world to accelerate ecological economic growth. And the more inventions made by combining new public domain ideas synthesized further accelerated inventions. Inventors were well protected and received increased revenues by the more general applications of their ideas and a percentage of the profits than in the exclusive for generations procedures that retarded global economic security and supported oligopolistic corporatist business and management cartels.